Yeah, thanks. So delighted to be here today. We've started working in partnership with the DESA program following their interactions with our communities team. They've been in the community for about 5-6 years now, but necessarily haven't been at the forefront of Breckland's priorities moving forward. But over the last 2 years since we've been working with our communities team, they've become more aware of the activities and the programmes which the DESA have been involved with, particularly as it's a Breckland related charity. And Breckland over the last year has committed over £1 million to our vulnerability programme, and part of that is to deal with domestic abuse throughout the whole of our community. It started a conversation, and by raising awareness, working in partnership with yourselves, which is fantastic without that branding and getting out in the public, it's starting that conversation. We are aware that it occurs, but it happens behind closed doors. And actually sometimes we may be aware of friends and family who may be susceptible or may be undergoing that type of thing. So being able to have that conversation with those individuals and try and help them to then get the right support so they can extract themselves from what is a really horrendous situation.
What's the process been like with the football club? How did that come about? Tell me a little bit about that.
So we've supported Dereham Football Club for many, many years now, and one of our officers has forged a new relationship with your new chairman, and from that it was started that conversation about how we can get Dereham to be more integrated with some of the charity side within not just Dereham but the wider Norfolk as a collective. And the DESA programme was a fantastic opportunity. Norwich City have done much the same, raising awareness under domestic abuse, so it was our opportunity working with a local charity in Watton in Breckland to raise awareness with Dereham, our local football club as well. And you have got such a fantastic reputation, not just across Norfolk, but across the eastern region. So it's working hard to lift your profile, piggyback on the back of your reputation to raise that awareness as well. So I think ultimately it's that male macho type domination within the community, and that getting them to understand that they can talk about it. They may be susceptible to domestic abuse as well, but actually making sure that they aren't undertaking it, that their friends and family aren't undergoing it either. So using them as ambassadors out in the community to raise that awareness within where they are, whether it's their friends and family, their work, their community, whatever it may be. But for domestic abuse, and through the DESA programme as a charity, understanding that there is an inroad and that males are understanding some of the concerns which some females predominantly go through.
Can you sort of outline your plans from your perspective in terms of Breckland Council for the season ahead? I think it's 3 years or something. What are your sort of plans, etc.?
For the council or in relation to domestic?
Both. So
okay.
In terms of domestic abuse in this sort of programme, but also in general?
Yeah, so Breckland Council's committed over £1 million to our vulnerability programme. We've got some real core themes. One is to combat and target domestic abuse and raise that awareness. We're not going to necessarily eradicate it from our community, but it's starting that conversation. The next phase is about mental health, both within the agricultural community, the youth, and some of our vulnerable members of society. The next part is about county lines. We're prolific across the country for county lines, which is occurring, and we want to make sure that it isn't getting a foothold within our fantastic community of Breckland. And the fourth part, is about isolation, social isolation which occurs, and we're working with the Silver Social Project to raise awareness of that and combat some of that. And that's been going on for 2 years, been a really successful programme. And when I took over as leader last year, I was absolutely committed that we needed to change how Breckland operated rather than just being a statutory service, that we were going out and agitating some of those conversations and making a real change for the residents and across Breckland. So it's had an impact in regards to the speed we wanted to roll the programme out across all those 4 areas, but no, not necessarily. We've had to redistribute some of our officers to other areas to make sure that we're responding to COVID to support both residents and businesses alike. But as we're beginning to come out of the major part of the pandemic at the start of this calendar year, and we're moving into our recovery phase, we're absolutely ramping back up again to support activities such as with the DESA programme.